Hi guys, it's just me, Becky here at Aunt Beck's Creations, and we're a little washed out. Hang on. See if that's a little better. This is PJ and sweater morning. If you can hear it, it's raining. I had been going out and working in the garden or yard or lawn or whatever you want to call it, but I'm cleaning up flower beds as I go, and I'm trying to work between 30 minutes and an hour each day, but it's raining this morning. And so this will be when the cats decide to get in a fight because Cole is in from the bonus room. He just likes to come in. That's why we call him an a-hole. But he just likes to come in and start trouble. I mean, my son has two cats. They mostly live in the bonus room. Occasionally they'll come in and follow him like to the bathroom or whatever. But they don't get along with our three cats that are in the main house. And I've got the door open to the catio, which is our screened porch that's not screened. It's got garden fence running vertically. So they have a place to get outside without being outside. Good morning, Melanie. So I was going to just sit here and crochet and try to chit chat. I've got you guys set up so you're kind of behind the camera so I can see you. And Scott just left for work. I am working on this pattern. It's on the Hobie website, and it's called Cosmos Blouse. That's a picture of it there. And when you look at the instructions, I was looking at these, it does not list what yarn they used. Well, it says yarn, Universe in Color Super Cluster and 05. So when we went on our 40th wedding anniversary, I found yarn at a thrift store, and I had 3 skeins of this Loops and Threads Barcelona. So I've already used 2, and I'm down to the last one. And because I only have the 3 skeins, I'm making a size large and hoping it'll fit me. If I went by these measurements that are on here, and they do, of course, they do centimeters because they're in a place where they use centimeters. So I would be above the largest size in centimeters. So I thought, well, I'm going to make the bust width. Well, maybe I don't, because this says bust width, not all the way around. So maybe I'm going to be okay with the 3 skeins. But anyway, basically you do V stitches around the center. Let me take my hook out so I don't drop it. This is what I have, and it looks like it's going to fit me just fine. It's a huge pattern. So you just work it like a big O. And then I think what you do, I haven't read all of it. I know I'm supposed to read all of the pattern, but then I think you just, close the sides in to create the sleeves. And it does say that there is an edging, but you do this around for the large. We're going to go and do 36 times around, and I can't remember what I was at. Let me look real quick. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I've got what? Another 10 times around? 24, 34 would be 10. So 12 times around. I hope I have enough yarn, because each time you go around, it gets larger and larger. Hi, Vicki. So it's getting there. I'm making this up to take with me when I go out somewhere, because some of these restaurants, I swear they keep the air conditioning like at 65 degrees. And I'll just sit there and just shiver the whole time I'm waiting for the food to come out and chit chat. And my focus gets away from the conversation because I'm just thinking, dang, it's cold in here. So if this size turns out to be too large, I'll make another one in this next size down, the medium. But I am now thinking that 70 centimeters is just the width across one side. And I was assuming it was, the circumference around the body, but it's getting bigger and bigger all the time. So I'm starting a new row. And after you've joined here, you just chain 4 and then you work back into this loop and that chain 4, and then you just do a double crochet. And then to go around, it's nothing but a chain 1, and then you work a V stitch in the next stitch, which is a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then you chain 1 and go to the next space, and you work in between the V stitches here, not inside the V stitches, but in between. So every other row jumps back and forth. Yeah. And your join, you can see the join line. You see it coming up through. And the diagonal right here, that's where I've joined it, which I think is a pretty nice join. And I would just wear the join at the back, I think. So anyway, that's what I'm working on. So what's everybody else doing this morning? Morning, Ray. The weather keeps blipping up that the rain is going to stop in the next couple hours. So that worked really good for me to clean up this flower bed that's just outside the window. Excuse me, I'm fixing to sneeze. And I planted the rudbeckia and the other plant that I'm not sure what it is. I need to get with Rachel, my son's girlfriend, and ask her what that other plant was, because Greg thought they were the same thing, and I don't think they are. The leaves look different. So, but anyway, I did that yesterday, and they've gotten a really nice drink. Plus, they are just outside here is where the little valve or little pipe comes out from the dehumidifier we had installed under the house. So that little area in that garden bed it always has water running on it, because especially now that it's getting more humid, that dehumidifier under the house runs almost constantly. Vicky's knitting socks, and Ray has a doctor's appointment in a couple hours. I've done a quick cleanup on the kitchen. I haven't washed the stove off and stuff yet because I haven't eaten. So I'll do that in a minute. I had I had the tail end biscuit. When you're making biscuits, you always have that one lump of dough that you just kind of form in and just stick it on the tray and bake it. So I had that biscuit, which was maybe this big. And then I made Scott a patty that was like that big. So I told him, I said, I'm sorry about the sorry biscuit. It looks kind of sad compared to that sausage patty. But he said he could still eat it. But then he told me he's having a queasy stomach this morning. So I hope it sets well. Last night when he got home, he said, we got to run to Costco. And I said, we do. His boss can't find batteries for his hearing aid. Everybody, for a lot of the people, I will say, a lot of the people that work where he works are senior citizens, over 60s. He told me the other day that they were having a birthday celebration for their oldest employee. Guess how old she just turned? I'll let you guys do some guesses. Good morning, Janet. Janet Nash, I saw you were working on a top similar to this one, but your stitch was not a V stitch. It was more of a granny. So I thought how funny that is that she and I are working on a very similar top. I'll show you this again because Janet just got here. But see, this is the top I'm working on. And it's V stitches instead of grannies so that you can see the V's. Well, let's see. Vicki got it the closest. She's turned 90. And she told Scott she's just never thought about retiring. She just turned 90. She works in the wiring. She just wires stuff all day long. So how cool is that? The place he works at is I think it's owned by a French company because they always have to wait for the folks in France to be available to do any kind of major discussions. And it's a very small business, and it's like the perfect end of a career workplace because there's just so few people. Everybody knows everybody there, no matter what department you're in. I mean, it's a very small manufacturing and repair center. So, yeah. Morning, Jess. So I'm just stitching. I'm trying to find, if you look at my dress form in the back, the shawl that's around there, that's that Premier Butterfly. And it works okay as a shoulder covering shawl, but I'm kind of wishing I had another skein or two of it to make it just a little bit longer. But apparently it's not available anymore. So it's one of those things I'll keep my eye out at the thrift stores. She's doing okay. I told Scott maybe we should go check on her. And he was not wanting to do that yesterday, so we didn't. We drove in the rain to go to Costco, and it took us forever to get there because it was right at 5:00, and it's on the other side of Columbia. So there was that, but I don't know. She just she took that fall at the restaurant the other day. She doesn't even remember if she tripped over. She was just standing there with my brother-in-law waiting for them to sit at a table. Well, the restaurant they were at, that you seat yourself. But she said all of a sudden I was on the floor, and apparently she's bruised her tailbone. And I said, well, did you go to the doctor or anything? No, she hasn't gone to the doctor. So I don't know if she's, just bruised her tailbone, maybe cracked something. I don't know. She was in a lot of pain. But I don't know what to do. I feel like my hands are tied a lot. But she is very hard-headed, and she's been getting angry if we push an issue. Like that time I was over there and I said, you really need to have an eye exam because I don't think she should be driving because I don't think she can see. She's almost 98 years old. And she refuses to go to the eye doctor because she said apparently they told her there's nothing more they can do for her. Well, she still needs to have her eyes examined to be sure she's safe to be driving. But I don't know. Yeah. And she said my brother-in-law just kind of stood there and looked at her like he didn't know what to do. And one of the waitresses just put her hands out and just pulled her back to her feet. I was like, wow. I would have had her right to the urgent care up the road. The urgent care is not far from that restaurant. And they could have just walked in and had her looked at. And that place is pretty well run. They get you in and out pretty quickly. When you get to a corner, you do 2 of the V stitches with a chain 3 in between the 2 V stitches to get the corner. So this is like super easy to do. Small plain going over. Maybe it's a little bit larger than I thought. It's morning commute time. It's about the only time the airplanes are really loud. This time of day and in the evening. All right, so that was chain 1, 2, 3, and then do another V stitch in the corner. And this is one of those I can do. Can you imagine knitting something that size? Ours has an imaging. Our urgent care has imaging. It's kind of an emergency room with everything you need. As far as I know, because it says it on the side of the building that they have it. You mean knit something this big? Ugh, I don't know. Yeah, Vicky's laughing at me. I haven't put the sentiments on the cards I made yesterday yet. That's something I can do this morning. If the rain lets up, I might go out and cut some stuff back. And I don't know if I'll haul it to the street or just create a pile. Oh, something bit me right by my belly button out there. I went to get ready for bed and I was like, why is that itch? And then when I itched it, it hurt. And I looked and it's really red. So I took a Benadryl just so I could sleep last night. Slept like a rock. The lawn got mowed, but now it's been raining. So we'll probably end up having to mow again really soon. But it's still raining. So let's see here. You stopped crocheting when you found quilting? I do everything. I've got quilt tops that need to be quilted. I have a friend up in Maine that she said, if you send them up, I'll long arm quilt them. But I got to save money to do that so she can do that for me. I'd pay her to do it. That's for sure. But I also have 2 quilt frames that we got at the thrift store, but I would be hand quilting then. Been thinking about making some baby quilts up. So yesterday, thinking about blankets, I got the shelves put back in the linen cabinet or closet there in the hallway, and I got all the linens put back in there. And I don't need to make any more Afghans for us. I've determined I've made like 6 or more Afghans and the closet's full. So I need to make sweaters and hats and socks and that kind of thing from now on with my crochet or knitting. And wear wearables, make wearables, or make blankets to donate. Because I have way too many in the closet. Scott did have to, I don't know what happened between the time we took everything apart for the floor repair, but one of the shelves was not going back in no matter how I switched them around. So I told him, I said, can you just like saw a little bit off one side of this shelf? So he did that for me. And so I got that all back on there. We could rehang the doors so that the linen closet's closed again there in the hallway. And y'all won't see this, the silver pipe that's shining. Oh, it's over there. It's hard because I'm backwards today. That is weird. How is that possible? No, it's back there. I'm looking the wrong way. There you go. See the linen closet where the silver is? The two doors are all painted and stuff. The only thing is the floors have not been finished, but it's going to be a while before we get to sanding and staining and putting the clear on the floor in the hallway and it back in our master bedroom. So I told him, I said, I'm just going to put this stuff back in there so that we can get the plumber out to put the faucets in the tub and reinstall the commode in there. So we have a second bathroom again. With 3 people having one bathroom, it's been interesting. You have a cutie frame and a Unique 15 Pro. I'll have to look those up. Now, I know that Deb just set up her, what, isn't it a cutie that Deb just set up? Pug's mom? Yeah, I have quilt fabric. There's the quilt fabrics that are the cottons that I have for quilting are all under our bed in 6 different containers. So yeah, I have a quilting fabric stash as well. I need to get in the back and yeah, I thought it was funny. She'd had it for a long time and her husband was using it as a table. I was like, that would so be Scott. So I'm hoping we'll be getting flooring down in the front room. This has been an ordeal, you guys, having that huge repair done. But when we are done, it'll be so nice to have everything back in order and I'll have the spaces fixed up, you know, and everything will have its home again. I don't do well when everything's like right now, it's kind of getting next to me because I got stuff piled up there. I got stuff beside me over here on the floor. And a lot of it is stuff for projects I want to do. And then my sewing machines are back there and they're covered with crocheted finished items that need to go through the laundry. And then they'll go in my gift or sell box that I've started of things that I've made. I took the blouse apart that I had put black bias around the neck and I didn't like that. Plus it's a little tight in the arms. So I want to see if there's a way I can add a bit to the arm opening, maybe under the arm or something, put a gusset or something in there. It's the sleeves are not set in sleeves. They're the ones that are sewed on the diagonal. And then the neckline has elastic and a tie. And I don't know if I want the elastic. Sorry. Morning, Heather. So I took that top off from it, the black bias tape, because I didn't like it because the shirt is cream. So I'm trying to repair that so it'll actually fit me because I do like that top a lot. If it just fit a little better in the arms. And I'll need to make notes on that pattern that I need to change that and just add maybe a ½ inch to each of the seam lines. And that would give me enough room because if I add a ½ inch to the sleeve and I add a ½ inch on the arm, that'll be a full inch that'll be added to the arm area opening. And I think that would give me enough room to move my arms. It's not that my arms are huge or anything. It's just the way that's cut. What is going on? I will tell you, this yarn splits like a, yeah. So I'm going to fix that. The little green dress, it looks really nice when I have it on, but it's really, really tight. So I need to lose some weight or, you know, just make it again and look the next size up. Because I can't breathe when Scott zips me in. I have to go. I can't walk around like that. Good morning, Helen. I didn't see if Mary's coming on. I'm not going to stay on long. I'm going to sign off at 7 o'clock. I don't know if y'all just heard that bullfrog or not. That's in the cement pond behind the garage. It's not in our yard. It's the neighbors. It was funny. Yesterday, I have neighbors here, and then behind the garage up there, I have another, and they both have swimming pools. This one, they keep their swimming pool up, and they have kids over and their grandkids and stuff. The other one has cattails and bullfrogs. And the people that have the chickens up that way, we can have chickens, up to 3 chickens, but we're not supposed to have roosters in the neighborhood because they crow. Well, they have a rooster because he crows. But now I think they also have ducks because I hear quack, 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 along with the chickens with their, So it's kind of like being on the farm again, and I get to hear the chickens and the ducks. It's just been kind of interesting. But yesterday I opened the door because Callie wanted to go out on the patio, and one of their grandchildren was over, and she was just screaming with glee about the pool. And Callie was like, whoa, that's a child. Nope, nope, nope. And she backed up like that and came right back in. Let's see. And Messy Table isn't Diane. That's Vicky. You're thinking of, their names are really similar, but that's Vicky. 60 chickens. Oh my gosh. Does it smell? Because I know that if you drive by a poultry farm here, it's so disgusting. I feel so bad for those chickens. I'm at a corner, so I got to do the chain 3. I'll get around the corner here. But I do like listening to the chickens when they get up, and they're having a late morning with it raining. You do hear the roosters. At one time, my mom up at her place on the river, she had like 10 roosters, and they crowed 24/7, even during the night. If I spent the night up there, I'd hear roosters crowing. And I was like, why do you have so many roosters? And then she started catching them and taking the roosters to the market. I was like, shoot, Grandma would have just put them in the freezer because we only needed one rooster. And if you have more than one, they fight and become aggressive. So, yeah, unless you keep them separate and have different coops or runs or whatever. They're still gonna crow. Oh, she sells the eggs. That's awesome. So fresh eggs. I do miss fresh eggs. I told Scott, I said, I just don't think I'm up to caring for that. They want to know if you're a Y or an IE or an I. I know there's all different kinds of Vicky spellings out there. I just love to hear the chickens. Oh, that's right. I think you mentioned that they're for exotic breeders. I think at one time there was, not far from here, there was an emu farm, and you could tour there, but I think they've gotten out of the emu business because the last time we drove down through there was no emus right next to the road and the fencing. So I'm thinking they, got too old to do it, or nobody else in the family wanted to carry it on, or whatever. Is Janet here? Oh, Janet Nash is here. Oh, you got a robin's nest. That's cool. When we redo the little shed that we started with, we're gonna, move a door to the end, and we're gonna fix it up after we're done fixing the floors in here. There's always a project old house. Sorry, orange juice is not setting. I did have some orange juice. We're going to fix that little shed up. And I told Sky, I said, I'd like to put some robin ledges where you just put a board up for them to build on, because robins use all kinds of stuff. And sometimes they'll even use mud to pack things in. We had a robin that she just built her nest on a little wooden shelf my grandmother had put up on the garage. And she would just fuss at us when we had to come get the lawnmowers out or anything. Uh-oh, you're an obsessive stalker. When before we'd done the whole live in Greenville and come back and forth, and then we're back here now, we had hung a basket just under the eave, just outside the porch area. This is before we had these 3 cats, and that was a screened porch. And we just hung a basket, and some house finches put a nest in that basket. So every morning we were greeted with them chirping. And then when they had the babies, it would get really loud. So it was fun to just look out the window and see them go into that basket. That was a real treat. Oh, let me tell you, when I was cleaning up this flower bed just outside the window, let me see if I can show you guys. You see the Rebecca? That's where I cleaned up yesterday. And there's some other plants toward the house here that I'm not sure what they are. But if you look past the white bucket right on the corner, that's a baby dogwood tree that I need to move. And then there's the pot of mint I need to transfer to one of my pots so I can give Rachel her pot back, because I'm sure she could use it. And then she gave me, I think she said turmeric and then something else that are in that pots, and a walking onion. So I need to come up with a place, but I want to move the dogwood tree because to buy trees is expensive, but I have volunteer trees all in the yard that I just want to dig up and move to where I want them. I just can't leave the dogwood tree there because it's too close to the house. The people next door that, have the cat situation, they have a tree that's come up right by their house. And when the wind is blowing, you can just hear it rubbing the house on their roof. And I'm just like, it's going to start leaking in there because it'll just rub a hole right through the siding and everything. Yeah, it's a screened porch out there. And here. See, it's got garden wire up the uprights. And that's where the cats are. You can see Tippy's out there on that little table. He's on the second shelf down. I see the top little mat has curled over, so he's probably not happy with that. Hi, Maria. But I want to work. You can see where I'm going to put my new garden in is where that bale of straw is. And Lowe's has these raised bed things a lot cheaper than the place that you can order online, like half the price. So I told Scott, I said, to get me started, I'd like 3 of the 24-inch high ones. And the reason I'm doing the deeper ones is we've been noticing a rabbit has been coming. So it would be kind of pointless for me to grow straight into the ground now with a rabbit hanging around, because he would just eat everything. So I'm hoping to, like, each payday buy a bin and get it filled up. And I'll just use the old chestnut tree as a base. I'll just put it in there. It'll rot down, and that'll help fill up some of the space I need. I think they are metal, but they could be plastic or something. I can't remember what it's made out of now that you said that. But I want to get the ones that I think they are like 2 foot by 96 inches. They come out to be like 8 square feet each. And I would put them like 4 feet apart so I can mow down in between them, instead of trying to mulch all of that. I might change my mind on that eventually, but you have to protect everything you plant. All right. Well, I'm going to sign off at 7 o'clock. So I got 3 minutes. And it has stopped raining. So I guess I'll go pop on some shorts and a old t-shirt and go try to trim back on some of the, I'm just going to grab clippers and just go around and cutting. And the bushes next to the driveway that I try to keep rounded off to look like something out of Alice in Wonderland, there's some trees come up inside those. But I told Greg what I'd like to do, my son, is trim from the ground up about 6 inches back in so that the outdoor cats can go up under those bushes for some shelter, because they do like to get up under there. And if I could create a little space, they could get under there and it would be cooler in the hot of the day for them to be under there. So, oh, and there's so many blackberry briars come up inside my bushes out front. The flowering almonds I have planted out front. See, this stuff splits like you won't believe. The flowering almonds have gotten huge. You can barely tell I have azaleas planted there, but I'm okay with that because I love the flowering almonds. It's was one of my grandmother's favorite plants. She only had one of them, but she would just smile the whole time it was blooming because it puts little pink, like they look like little rosy pom-pom blossoms all up the stems. So these are going to be gorgeous. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to cut stuff today and just leave it. And then tomorrow I'll take the wagon and clean up whatever I cut back today so that I can just focus on cutting some things back. I have a bunch of plants I want to move. I would like to clear the fence line on this lower half since the guy put up this beautiful fence and it's just turned into a real jungle over there that's got poison ivy in it, which is not my friend. And I've been told the more you're exposed to it, the worse the reaction you'll have. And I agree. So anyway, I guess that's about it. We almost got all the way around while I ran my mouth. Anyway, so, and I'll just, here, let's do this. I don't know which way. I think the narrow, see, it's narrower. So I think it goes like that. And I'm supposed to put, what did I say, another 10 or 12 rows? And then you just hook the sides together and bam, you have a sweater or poncho. I don't know what you call it. What would you call that? A swancho? So anyhow, it's on Hobbii, Hobbii, and it's called Cosmos. Super easy pattern. Cosmos blouse. They call it a blouse. To me, it's not a blouse, but they can call it what they want. It's on their site. All right. So I'm going to let you guys go, and I will see some of you guys in our craft and chat in just a little bit. I do love this yarn. Color-wise, I don't care for the way it splits. And it's a Michaels brand, Loops and Threads, Barcelona. All right. Take care. See y'all later. Bye.